5 years from now, Daniel still has a stable job. He still looks responsible, employed, and trusted. But the center of the company has slowly moved away from him. In another future, Sofia has the bigger role, the better lifestyle, and the room she once wanted to enter. But the room is brighter because the pressure inside it never turns off. The choice did not begin as a dramatic leap. It began on a normal Monday, with two people entering two very different kinds of uncertainty. Daniel walked into a company that already knew his name. Sofia walked into a company where she still had to prove why she belonged. Daniel's value was visible the moment something went wrong. A routing problem spread across the operations floor, and people turned toward him before anyone asked. He knew the old system better than the manuals did. That knowledge protected his job today, even if it did not guarantee tomorrow. Sofia knew her work mattered because it kept appearing in rooms she was not allowed to enter. Her analysis shaped the conversation, but her chair stayed outside the glass. The safe job did not waste her talent completely. It used her talent without expanding her place. Daniel's manager praised him for being reliable. The words sounded respectful, and it was, but it also told Daniel exactly where the company expected him to remain. He was trusted to hold the floor steady, not necessarily invited to build the next one. Sofia did not treat the offer like a dream coming true. She treated it like a contract with both a door and a cliff inside it. The role promised more authority, more money, and more room to grow, but it also asked her to give up the comfort of being known. Daniel did not measure risk only by what might happen to him. His job also held up his mother's appointments, his rent, and the quiet promises he had made to family. Leaving would not just change his career. It would test the people who had built their plans around his stability. Before leaving her old company, Sofia passed the executive floor one more time. Through the glass, she saw the kind of room where strategy was shaped before reports were assigned. She did not want status for decoration. She wanted to be close enough to the decision to change the work itself. A recruiter offered Daniel a path toward higher pay and a stronger title. He did not ignore it because he lacked ambition. He studied the requirements and saw tools he had not used, industries he did not know, and a probation period his life could not easily absorb. For now, the safer choice felt less like fear and more like timing. Sofia signed the offer after counting the risks more than once. She was not certain the new job would protect her, but she was certain the old job had stopped stretching her. The risk of leaving finally looked smaller than the risk of becoming invisible. The next week, Daniel handled rent, groceries, and a family appointment without the week collapsing. Nothing about it looked impressive from the outside, but ordinary stability is often invisible until it disappears. Daniel understood why people do not gamble casually with the floor beneath their life. Sofia resigned carefully. She thanked the company for what it had given her, even though it had stopped giving her room. Leaving did not erase the years she had spent becoming useful. It only admitted that usefulness without growth was no longer enough. Crestline began installing the tools Daniel had only seen in recruiter postings. The company called it progress, and it was. But Daniel noticed who was invited to test the new system first. He was still essential to the old workflow, which meant he was not automatically included in the new one. Sofia's first day at Astor Lane did not feel like arrival. It felt like being dropped into motion. People were polite, but everyone was too busy to protect her from confusion. The bigger opportunity gave her a seat, not a cushion. Daniel did not quit, but he stopped pretending the choice was finished. If he was going to stay, he needed the safe job to become a platform, not a hiding place. He opened a course catalog after everyone at home had gone quiet. The first move was not leaving, it was preparing. Sofia's first paycheck was larger, and for one evening it felt like air returning to the room. Then the late messages arrived before she had finished dinner. The raise was real, but so was the pace attached to it. A better opportunity did not only pay more, it asked for more access to her life. When Daniel's mother needed help during the workday, his manager adjusted the schedule without making him beg. That flexibility did not look impressive on paper, but in real life, it meant he could be a son without losing control of his job. For Daniel, the safe job paid him partly in trust. At Astor Lane, Sofia was invited into the kind of strategy room she used to stand outside. This time, her analysis did not arrive without her. She stood beside the screen and answered questions directly. The opportunity gave her something the old job had withheld: proximity to decisions. That month, Daniel slept better than someone chasing a bigger title. His income arrived on time, his benefits worked, and his manager trusted him. The safe job was not glamorous, but it gave his nervous system one less thing to fight.
Sofia used the higher income before it used her. She repaired the laptop she had been postponing, added to savings, and bought time-saving groceries without guilt. The new job had not become safe yet, but the larger paycheck made her life feel less narrow.
Daniel's coworkers came to him when the pressure rose because they trusted his judgment. That trust had been built slowly through years of showing up. A new job might pay more, but it would not automatically give him that kind of capital. Daniel understood that reputation is also compensation. Sofia had entered better rooms, but she had no history inside them. Every answer had to prove her again. At the old company, people trusted her before she spoke. Here, trust had to be earned in real time. Daniel's evenings were not empty, but they were knowable. He could cook, study a little, call his mother, and still sleep before midnight. The safe job gave him something career ambition often consumes first. It gave him a rhythm. Sofia's days became faster than her old months. One meeting taught her more than weeks of routine reports used to. But accelerated growth also accelerated fatigue. The opportunity was working, but it was using more of her. Daniel's raise arrived, and for a moment, it felt like progress. Then rent renewed, groceries increased, and the car insurance bill landed in the same week. The safe job kept him employed, but it did not make life stop getting more expensive. Stability protected his floor, but the floor was slowly rising beneath his feet. Sofia had expected the new salary to feel bigger immediately. Then she compared the old benefits to the new ones and realized some protection had disappeared. The offer gave her more income, but not all compensation comes as cash. Some of what she gained had to be used to buy back safety.
Daniel became the person everyone called when the old system broke. That made him important, but the more the company leaned on what he already knew, the less time he had to learn what came next. His usefulness became both his shield and his cage.
Sofia's new role gave her sharper skills and bigger conversations, but recovery time disappeared first. Weekends became catch-up sessions, and quiet evenings became preparation for meetings. The opportunity did not steal her life all at once. It borrowed small pieces until she noticed. Daniel planned to attend the internal automation session. Then an old workflow issue broke, and everyone needed him downstairs. He fixed the problem because that was who he was. But another chance to step into the future passed without him. Sofia's manager asked her to lead a client recovery plan. The assignment meant trust, but also visibility. If it worked, her value would be obvious. If it failed, there would be nowhere to hide.
Daniel's car broke down on a morning when life was already full. The repair was annoying but not catastrophic. His schedule, paycheck, and manager's trust gave him room to handle the problem. This was the safe job doing its quiet work.
Sofia woke up sick before a major client meeting. At her old job, she would have trusted her reputation enough to rest. At the new one, every absence felt like a statement about whether she could handle the role. The better opportunity made her stronger, but not yet safe. Daniel attended a public career workshop to understand what the market wanted. The room was full of people learning tools he had only touched lightly. He did not feel stupid. He felt late. Sofia's new paycheck helped her life, but it did not make the office feel like home. She still ate lunch alone some days while older team members spoke in shorthand around her. The title gave her access. Belonging still had to be earned slowly. Crestline did not lay Daniel off. That would have been simpler to understand. Instead, the company quietly moved two of his old responsibilities into the new system. He kept the job, but the job was no longer exactly the same. Astor Lane lost a major client before Sofia's new role had fully settled. No one screamed and no one packed boxes, but the office changed temperature overnight. The risky opportunity revealed the part that had always been underneath it. Daniel was asked to help the automation team understand the old workflow. It was recognition, but it felt complicated. His knowledge was valuable enough to teach the new system, but maybe not valuable enough to remain unchanged after the system learned it. After the client loss, Sofia did not have the luxury of waiting to be evaluated later. She built a recovery plan before anyone formally assigned it. The riskier job forced her to move before she felt ready. That urgency was exhausting, but it also made her sharper. Daniel updated his resume and realized how much of his value lived in context. Inside Crestline, people knew what he solved. Outside, those same achievements sounded smaller on paper. The safe job had built reputation, but mostly inside one building. Sofia wanted bigger rooms, and she got them. But some nights she could not tell whether she was growing or simply surviving pressure better. Ambition had moved her forward. Now she had to ask whether forward was costing too much of herself. Daniel had always been proud of being the reliable one, but reliability began to feel different when it meant everyone knew what he would sacrifice. He realized responsibility had become part of his identity, and identity can be harder to leave than a job. Sofia's friends stopped asking if she was free on weeknights. At first, she told herself it was temporary. Then she noticed the group photos arriving without her. The opportunity had widened her career, but narrowed some parts of her life. Daniel finally met a career coach, expecting to be told whether to quit. Instead, she asked him what would make staying an active decision. That question removed the shame from his choice. He did not need to run from stability. He needed to stop hiding inside it. Sofia stopped treating stress as proof that she was ambitious. She listed what could actually go wrong: probation, health, cash flow, client loss, burnout. Once the risk had shape, it became something she could manage. The opportunity was still risky, but it was no longer vague. Daniel stopped standing outside the training room. He signed up, showed up, and sat where he could be uncomfortable on purpose. The safe job still protected his floor. Now he was using that floor to build something above it. Sofia realized that working harder was not the same as having a fair target. She asked her manager what success should look like before the next review. The conversation was uncomfortable, but it made the risk measurable. A risky job becomes more survivable when the rules stop hiding. Daniel's evenings became less comfortable but more useful. He studied after work when he used to only recover. The safe job gave him the schedule to do it, but not the energy. That part he had to bring himself. Sofia began leaving the office while some lights were still on. At first, it felt like disloyalty. Then she realized exhaustion was not a strategy. If she wanted the bigger role to last, she had to protect the person doing it. Daniel began translating what he knew into tools other companies could recognize. The old system knowledge was not useless. It only needed a new language. For the first time, his stability felt less like a cage and more like material. Sofia used the higher salary to build protection before upgrading her lifestyle. She added to emergency savings, repaired what she had delayed, and kept her spending modest. The bigger opportunities still carried risk, but now the risk had more floor beneath it. Daniel took an interview while still employed. This time, the interview did not feel like a desperate escape. It felt like information. Knowing he had options made staying feel less like surrender. Sofia passed her early review, but she did not confuse relief with permanent safety. The company still had pressure, the market still moved, and the role still demanded more from her. But now she had proof that she could survive the first stage. The risk had not disappeared. It had become earned territory. Daniel's new skills changed the conversation at work. He was no longer only the person who remembered the old process. He became someone who could connect the old system to the new one. The safe job finally began to move because Daniel moved inside it. Sofia's manager gave her ownership of a client recovery project. This time, the responsibility came with authority, not just pressure. She had taken the risk to enter bigger rooms. Now, one of those rooms finally had her fingerprints on the outcome. Daniel did not regret staying. The safe job had protected his family, his sleep, and his ability to prepare carefully. But he also understood what would have happened if he had stayed passively. Safety only worked because he eventually used it to grow. Sofia did not regret taking the opportunity. It gave her income, visibility, and a future she could not access from the old role. But she also understood that leaving was only the first decision. The harder work was learning how to survive the opportunity she had chosen. Months later, Daniel still worked at Crestline, but the version of him who stayed was not the same version who had almost hidden there. He had skills outside the old system, a resume that made sense beyond one company, and enough confidence to keep options alive. The safe job no longer owned his future completely. Months later, Sofia's role looked stronger from the outside. She led meetings, earned trust, and lived with more breathing room than before. But the cost had not vanished. She had simply learned to carry it with structure instead of adrenaline. In the end, Daniel and Sofia did not simply choose different jobs. They chose different pressures, different rhythms, and different versions of responsibility. Daniel had to learn that stability only protects the future when it still leaves room to grow. Sofia had to learn that opportunity only becomes freedom when it has enough foundation to survive the pressure. A safe job protects the floor. A bigger opportunity raises the ceiling.
But a floor can become a cage if you stop growing, and a higher ceiling can collapse if you have nothing strong beneath it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.